Hey, welcome back to Bobb-z Callahan's Word of Advice, video number 149 in this new series of Word of Advice videos. And today I wanted to talk about a very important topic. Yes, I know I've said that before about a lot of topics, but I think this one is very important because this is involving how you live out the lifestyle and advice that you are giving to other people. Another term that can be used to describe this is practicing what you preach. I wanted to include this topic in a word of advice video because it's just really, really important how we live our lives after we preach to people advice we're giving them. Say, for example, that you are encouraging people to talk in a clean way and avoid cussing. Well, after you've given your advice to people to do that, then you have to live it. With that example, you have to talk in a clean way and not cuss as much as you can help it. And when you live out what you are preaching to people, it makes a big difference. People see that you are actually trying to live the lifestyle that you are mentioning to other people. And that can really rub off on other people who are not sure on how to live their life. I'll tell you what now, on the flip side, it can also make a big influence, and it can be very noticeable if you are preaching a message to some people and you're not living it out the way that you have been preaching to people about. Say, for example, like with that example I just shared, you have been telling people to talk in a clean way and not cuss, but then you go and you talk in a dirty way and you're running your mouth and cursing all the time. That's being hypocritical if you are not living the lifestyle that you are preaching to other people. And that can make some people think, hey, is this person legitimately trying to live out the lifestyle and advice that they're telling me, or are they just saying that to say that? And that may rub off on some people in such a way that they may just not want to listen to you, or they may not care what you're saying to them. Now, I realize that since none of us are perfect, nobody is going to perfectly live the lifestyle that they are telling people about. With me, of course, I encourage people to talk in a clean way and to avoid cussing. And most of the time, I would say I am very good at watching what I say. However, there are still some times when I slip up and I make a mistake involving how I talk. I remember sometimes recently, and not very often, but sometimes, when I've been driving on the road and I had to put the brake on all of a sudden, since I was thinking, shoot, I'm not totally being careful with how I'm driving, or I had to put the brake on all of a sudden because someone else is being stupid. And I remember a few times a word slipped out of my mouth, which I would not normally say. Even though nobody was there to hear it, those words that slipped out are still going against the message that I preach to people in the way that I believe they should talk. The point there is that, all of us are going to slip up sometimes. It happens. We all deal with sin in this world, and we all make mistakes. But when it comes to the message that you are preaching to people, if you practice it to the absolute best of your ability, then that can make a positive difference in this world. Because there are people who need to hear the message preached to them, a message which is filled with hope and a new, pure, and clean message. People need to hear that. And it also makes a huge difference when those people preaching that message are living it out. If you live out the message that you are preaching to people, then trust me on this, it will make a big difference to other people watching you. And over time, if they start to live the same way, people are practicing what they begin to preach, and they're living the way that you've encouraged them to live, and I hope they're living in a very good way, then hey, that begins a chain of more people living in a much more positive way, and it's going to make the world better. So with that, I certainly hope what I've had to talk about in this video has made sense. Remember, be sure to practice what you preach, because I guarantee you, it can make a positive difference in this world. Hope what I've had to talk about in this video will come in handy for you. Be sure to come back for another word of advice video. See ya.